welcome back to, well, it's Dartmoor. Could be anywhere. Could be my back garden. But it's not. We're back on Dartmoor. Andy, you noticed that I've used my makeshift door opening thing here, because even though Hilleberg do a good job of putting the clip or the loop thing down there, it doesn't actually stop this part here from sagging down. It's like you got saggy pants on. So I've put the knife clip up there, and hopefully that will help just keep this bit from knocking on me. We'll kind of see. All right, look, it's 4:30. I was planning on getting down here yesterday, but I saw that the weather was pretty unpleasant yesterday, so I thought it'd be clever and come today, and the weather's still unpleasant, which is a bit a bit ironic, because I did check the forecast yesterday, and obviously I knew yesterday wasn't very nice, and the forecast for today was supposed to be not sunny but dry. Instead it's been raining realistically half of the drive here and 90% of the walk into camp. So I've put my jacket back here. Most of my food and everything I've put back here with my jacket. I've put my, obviously we're in the Hilleberg Akto here for this trip. I have slightly annoyingly pitched with this mound of tussock here, so I'm not quite sure how much of a problem that's going to be moving forward. Probably not too bad, because it is quite to the left of the inner, but it is sort of kind of like central left. But we'll not worry about it tonight. I think we can sleep around that, and then if the weather, which is supposed to be better tomorrow, improves tomorrow, then sometime during the day I can just move the tent over. I only need to move it literally, if I'd have just had it, I don't know, 6 inches. Oh, matron, if I'd have just had it 6 or so inches that way, it would have been it would have been a bit further at the back. But be careful, we're doing all this. So anyway, but I think we'll work around it. It's really just so unpleasant. I really, as I said in my last video, I will be so pleased and happy when we can finally get some sun. I was really half counting on having some good weather today, but it just did not transpire at all. So I kind of just briefly show you around. As you can see, I've taken my jacket off. I'm marginally damp, but not soaked. What I've done in here, just while I'm sort of talking to you as well, I've put this black foam mat down here so I'm not on the ground, and obviously I've put the Z-Lite foam mat across there, which is where I will be using it the most. I can probably move it down. This is that mound that I was talking about. You can kind of see it's a bit of a, and it does actually come over here somewhat, but the inner comes over here quite a lot, so I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. Basically at the back here I've got my insulated jacket in there. Obviously all of my nighttime stuff is in there as usual. My airbed I've got there, and then I've got some crackers and food, fleece, and then other bits and bobs, more food, and then other bits and bobs back there. My torch and what have you is back there. And then in this section here I've got the the jet boil, which I brought on this trip, the frying pan and various other things there. And then I've got Lass's food here. I may have brought more than I actually needed this time. And then obviously I filled up the water. So basically I think the plan, given that it's now 25 to 5 and this weather, I've checked the forecast and this weather is basically set all night and into tomorrow, but it should, I hope, ease up tomorrow afternoon, and then hopefully after that start to improve the signal. So today we've got basically rain all day, until, and then all night until basically, you know, 10 o'clock. Basically it's just a all night rain until 10 o'clock tomorrow, coming from the southeast. So north is that way, yeah, north is that way, east south, so it's kind of like coming from the south and east, which is over that way. And then I think it's kind of like mostly south and southwest, and Friday it's going to be northwest, so coming sort of in that direction over there. But after tomorrow morning, after 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, we should, well, maybe a drop of rain tomorrow, late tomorrow afternoon. And maybe, well, okay, Thursday morning, there's early in the morning. But during the day, Friday, sunny intervals when I'm heading back. It basically rained the entire trip. And during the day, Thursday, maximum speed is 18 miles per hour, which is really nothing. So there's not so much wind. Thursday looks just dry, really. 10% chance of rain, up to 11 degrees. Too bad. Once we get through tomorrow morning, once we get past 9 or 10 o'clock tomorrow, then it should hopefully ease off. Okay, well, I think I need to start, you know, getting out of these slightly, at least I suppose I've got a little bit of a little thing to sit on here. It's like a little, it's like my own built-in, it's like my own built-in little chair that I've got here. You can tell that the Akto, mind you, having this chair thing doesn't exactly help, but you can tell that this Akto and brushing the top definitely isn't as roomy as most of my other shelters. There's a surprising amount of room in here for a one-man tent. You know, Lass is outside. You know, she popped her head in for 1 minute. Well, actually 20 seconds. I thought, well, you don't want to be out there in the rain. You want to come in here, don't you? So anyway, I brought her in for 20 seconds and she just went straight back out again. I'll leave the door open there so, you know, she can get in. I've put my rucksack outside there and her pack outside there. We're going to be our usual, you know, couple of days here, so hopefully the rain will go away enough on Wednesday and Thursday that the packs will dry out. But if they're wet, they're wet. Can't do much about that. It's better to have more space inside and not worry too much about your packs, I think. Well, that's what I think anyway, rightly or wrongly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to set up inside in here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just try and get myself comfy. Let's get the airbed rolled out. I have brought with me this time my other my other XTherm. I've got about 2 or 3 XTherms. I don't know why I've got so many, but I got 2 or 3. This time I brought the rectangular one because I'm in a tent and I had a few spare ounces, although not much to play with, to be honest, in the rucksack. I thought that I wouldn't have any spare ounces in the rucksack because the rucksack was about 17 kilograms. That's what happens when you bring sausages, bacon, a jet boil, a frying pan, an Akto. You see what I do? See what I do for all of you? I don't know. I could be coming out here with just a few kilograms of my super lightweight equipment, but I know some of you probably find that a bit boring all the time, so you know, just for you and any new subscribers who happen chance along when I say that I'm using my Hilleberg Akto. And my jet boil, and then when you come to this channel and you have discovered this chap using an Akto, and then he's talked about when he uses other things with a bit more room, you can start nosing around the rest of my channel. We've been here 10 years. I've got 470 odd videos on here, so that will keep new customers, new victims of my channel going for a while. We're just gonna, I'm not quite sure how much air I'm gonna put in here. Alright, that'll do for now. I've not actually done it up a huge amount. I can get some more air into it later on. I just want to talk, you know, for those that are still here and watching, and obviously we've got here, you know, it's raining, you know, it's miserable weather once again. Tony brings Akto out into a rainstorm. So, you know, hopefully a wet weather video gets a few more interested parties. Well, I get inside. Basically what I did, you know, well, you saw what I did. I did a time lapse of it. I got in, I still had my raincoat on. They say, you know, don't bring anything wet, you know, into this inner vestibule area. Keep all wet stuff, you know, out in the porch. And obviously we did that to a very large degree. My rucksack was out there. In here I did come in and I sat down with my wet jacket, and obviously I was probably moving around and causing some splashing to go on, but not too much. So, you know, try to keep as much wet in the vestibule as possible. It's inevitable some's going to come into the inner. Now, if any comes into the inner, you have two things that you can do or to bear in mind. One, just have a towel, one of those light life venture towels. Doesn't have to be a big one, you know, a foot, 2 feet square, something like that. It doesn't have to be big. You don't have to bring your bath towel with you, and they only weigh you know, a few grams really. So, you know, bring something, you know, like that with you. If you come inside, the wettest thing that I had was my mats, not the airbed, because that was obviously inside. But if that did get wet, then again, just make sure it's dry before you put your sleeping bag on it. You know, obviously it's dry because it was in a black bag inside my pack. So, you know, but if it was wet, then just dry that, or dry the top of it. People worry and panic too much about damp inside. You're not going to get rid of all damp inside a tent in poor weather, especially in, you know, autumn and winter and that type of thing. So the main thing to bear in mind is, you know, not to worry about the bottom of your airbed wet, because you're not going to be touching the bottom of your airbed. So if it gets damp for whatever reason, just leave it. Don't waste your time trying to dry it. It's bottom, nothing's going to get to it, and you know, it's fine. Just ignore that. You just want the top dry, that's all. If your foam mats get wet like mine did, again, to a large degree that doesn't matter, because if you do it like I do, most likely they're going to be at on top of the ground sheet but under your airbed, so again it doesn't matter. Now I do like to have a bit of a foam mat, which I'll figure out how I do it later on, but I like to have a bit of a foam mat to one side of me slightly, so I can put an elbow down so I'm not on either wet or cold ground. So that part you might just want to make sure it's dry. But other than that, and obviously if some moisture gets in, you know, you kind of just got to either ignore it, wipe it with your towel, or most likely it's going to be in a place where it's not going to matter. And most of the splashes that I, you know, deposited in here have kind of, you know, disappeared anyway. There's a few, you know, on the ground sheet here and there, but, you know, realistically, rub it with your hands. You know, God gave us hands, or Darwin gave us hands. You know, just rub it. If it's just a few drops, just rub it with your hands. And then kind of like, you know, do that. And you've got rid of the moisture that was down there, because it wasn't that much. And in the process, you've also warmed your hands up. So it's like a multitask. Your hands are now multitask items. They're drying agents, and they're warming agents as well to help the blood flow around your body. So what we're going to do now basically is we're going to get, you know, into bed basically, because it's coming up to 5 o'clock. The weather isn't going to get any better, you know, whatsoever. So we have no choice now but to say, right, that's it, let's settle down for the night. So what you need to do, you have your dry bag, and this has everything for the night in here dry. You know, you don't let this get wet. Bizarrely, the bottom of it's moist, but everything's in, you know, inside it, of course, is going to be dry. So we can start to take stuff out of here now. So what we've done is we've already taken out a few bits here. Well, one thing here. So far we've taken out my nighttime long sleeve merino top, and then I've got a buff, I've got nighttime gloves, nighttime leggings, nighttime beanie, and then just in case it was cool, I've got down leggings, which you don't necessarily have to bring, and down booties. And again, something like that is kind of optional. It kind of depends, you know, on the weather. Realistically, given that I'm sitting up here now, and you know, and yes, I'm cool because I haven't, you know, it's mostly dry now, to be fair. You know, I think my +4 degree sleeping bag will be plenty. Probably won't need those. And my sleeping bag liner. And then Down here, that's my sleeping bag. And then this bag here obviously is my dry bag for keeping all of that dry. So that I'm going to put back there safely. And then obviously my pillow, which has a little damp patch on it, but it's so small and insignificant, you know, just don't worry about that. Right, so we've put air in the pillow for later on. And basically we now have to, you know, get ourselves, you know, a little bit more ready for bed. So we really are quite close now. So let's get a bit more air into this. Once I've got my wet shoes and socks off and these waterproof trousers, then I can shift over. But at the moment, as you can see, I'm keeping my wet shoes and socks, you know, to the side there, well away. Spot the deliberate error. I hadn't opened the van. I thought it's taking a long time to, I thought that's taking a long time for air to go into my airbed. It just hasn't I hadn't opened the valve properly. Oh dear. Oh, there's no hope. I tell you, as I'm getting older, I'm 50 now. It's really not that old, is it? But I'm finding that my joints and legs and thighs and what have you are just, they're not as agile and flexible as they once were, which is, it's a little bit annoying. But you know, even just trying to pull my leg forward like that, it just takes, it just takes more effort than I really, you know, like the idea of. Now obviously my socks are wet. I wore my trail shoes this time because the forecast said that it would be dry. So I thought, well, I won't wear my boots today then if the forecast says dry. Hang on a minute, I've just got to try and get these leggings off a minute. Oh, bloody hell, where's my pillow? There. My key's gone. While I'm lying down, I'm gonna take my trousers off as well. And because it's and because my trousers, you know, are marginally damp, I'm going to take my trousers and my underwear off as well. I don't want anything that was damp or wet, you know, getting into the sleeping bag. So anything that's damp and wet and you don't need, take it off. So we're going to do a bit of editing. I'll have to edit here given I've got this camera running up here. So just make sure we choose the correct camera with some of these angles. We'll put my trousers there. My socks I've already put over there. My waterproof trousers can go over there. I don't know where my underwear. It's strange, I've lost my underwear. How bizarre. I think given my current state, what I'm basically going to do now is just quite simply get this wet t-shirt off here, put my dry t-shirt on, my leggings and socks, and get into the sleeping bag. And I will see you in a minute. Okay, well, Andy, I've moved it down here. It was getting in the way up there, and this was still sagging down here. Plus it was sagging, you can't see behind the jet board, but this bit was sagging. If I put it there, it's holding it just nice and tight there. There was a couple of comments or a couple of things that I saw about people saying about, you know, condensation in a tent, especially a Hilleberg. Leave everything open as much as possible. So unless I have to do the inner wrap, and I will just have to be wary of Lassie at night, because I have to have her quite a bit closer to me. She's of course outside in the rain, but you know, I've put this foam mat down here because obviously in my bigger shelters I can put her mat a bit further away from me, but I don't have that luxury here. So I've put the mat there, so obviously if she comes in and she lies on that, she's potentially, you know, going to be right next to me. So that's just one thing that when I go to sleep tonight, I might just do this up, maybe just along the bottom, we'll kind of see, or I'll maybe try and move a bit over to the right a bit, but it's not quite so easy with that mound there. Or I might think of something else that I can just put there as a barrier between, you know, between wet dog and I wouldn't mind so much if it was wet papa. I wouldn't mind so much if it was wet papa, poopa, he, pa, ce. Wouldn't mind that next to me. For wet dog, I don't like quite so much. I don't want to wet that itchy next to me. Oh God. These videos are to try and encourage new people. Hilleberg, Jetboil. We've been camping for 10 years. Where have you been all this time? Probably when I say join us for 2 minutes, then they realise why they haven't been here. Oh dear. Anyway, we're as mad as ever. We can't be sensible on this channel. This channel's not for the sensible folk. This channel's for the completely the completely mad, insane bunch. Right, okay. So obviously we're now settled inside. Settled inside. It's the actress to the bishop. we're inside the sleeping bag. Shane. We're inside the sleeping bag. And I was showing Shane a watch. I wasn't making any suggestions about Shane and the sleeping bag with me in the bag. I just thought I'd best mention that for any newbies coming along. Anyway, where were we? Distracting myself again. Yeah, so we're nice and comfortable inside, as the actual, and I put my pillow under my elbow. I have ordered one of those super lightweight jobbies from America via eBay. So, and I've even got a straw. I've even got a straw ready for that. So that'll be interesting to see, you know, how that goes. So basically, obviously you saw me, you know, completely undressed, you know, sitting on the foam mat. You know, this is another reason why you need your foam mat with you. So that insulated me from the ground. Basically then I just put on my clothing for inside camp in the tent. So my long sleeve merino, my fleece, and I've put my down. It's a very, very lightweight down jacket, but a down jacket on over the top. And obviously I've got lightweight leggings on, and I've put my merino socks on my feet. So my feet have started slowly but surely to start to warm up. Some of you might think, why did he wear trail shoes, especially anyone new coming along? Why is he wearing trail shoes and getting soaking wet? Obviously because trail shoes and wet feet, apart from when it's very, 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 very cold, is better than boots, basically, in a nutshell. So once you're in camp and you're, you know, and you're settled in camp, you're inside your sleeping bag, you're in your tent, you've done your airbed up, you've got your pillow, you've got everything kind of half sorted out. It's basically now time to chill out, relax, you know, break out your beer if that's what you're into, or in my instance, turn your jet boil on, boil up some water, grab your cup and make a cup of tea. Now, one little tip that I will give you, we try to be helpful on this channel occasionally around the madness that we really are. You know, when you get into camp, I've just got one of these chocolate bar things here, but if you like chocolate or something like that, and it's not in the middle of summer, and it's been a pretty wet, dank, you know, walking, you know, your morale's a bit down and that type of thing, bring some chocolate with you, and eat a piece of chocolate if you like chocolate, or, you know, if you want a banana or whatever it is that you want that is kind of like special. And then when you first settle down, don't save that item thinking, oh, I'll save it for tomorrow or the next day. You know, you could of course do that, but you may not need the morale boosting on those days because you would have already settled in and into your routine and your rhythm of camp or your walk and camp. So maybe when it's a bit cold and your morale's just a bit lower because obviously the weather's not so good, have your chocolate now, and then it'll like kind of brighten your day up a little bit. So there's a top Tony tip. I said tip, not tip blue. So basically once you're in camp, you're settled down, you really just chill out for the evening. So obviously my jet boiler's boiled up my water. I haven't made my tea yet, but I'm gonna make my tea. I'm gonna put my milk and sugar and tea bag in there. I'm gonna have my, I don't need morale boosting, but it's here. I'm gonna have my morale boosting thing, and I'm gonna start watching, I think, last week's and this week's episode of The Walking Dead, which is very applicable given the weather. I doubt, maybe this is just a moment, just a reflector in that type of thing. I think I have a few viewers who are more east of here. I'm sure I've seen someone from Poland either here or my other channel, but you know, if you're in any of those areas, the Poland, Ukraine, or any of those areas around there, you know, my thoughts, you know, are with you, and I hope that that madman, you know, backs off quickly and you can get back to your lives properly. Honestly, you get over one thing, this bug, and then a madman comes along. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, if anyone is over in that neck of the woods and you're watching me, then, you know, my heart and thoughts and wishes and everything else, you know, my heart just goes out to you, and I hope that things sort themselves out quickly. In the meantime, we're going to carry on being happy, you know, and daft here, and enjoying ourselves and spreading, you know, happy thoughts around the world of whoever stumbles across this channel. So basically that's it for now. I'll probably edit this as an edit, finish this. Thanks for watching. This is probably end of part 1. Make sure you come back for part 2 and 3 and whatever else we do on this trip. And, you know, I will see you very, very soon. Tomorrow morning, I think. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, notifications, all that usual stuff. See you soon.